What is the mysterious story of Easter Island and the Moai statues? What do the locals have to say about it? Have we decoded the secret behind these Moai, everyone? I'm here, and today we're going to take a trip to one of the most isolated islands in the world, Easter Island. It's been suggested that this island holds the key to understanding ancient civilizations around the world. So, what are the facts and what is fiction? Are there any undiscovered secrets? And what do the islanders believe happened here so long ago? This episode may change your views forever. In the Indian Ocean, 3,500 miles away from the South American coast, lies an island which has remained shrouded in mystery for centuries. It was only discovered by Europeans in the year 1722 when a Dutch ship stumbled upon it. The island's name, Easter Island, came from the fact that it was found on Easter Sunday. That's how it got its name. Easter Island, or Rapa Nui, as the natives call it, is still a Chilean territory, but it is remote. It's very far away from everything. To get there, you need to travel by plane. The nearest airport to the island is in Santiago, Chile. You can fly from there and reach the island in less than 5 hours. But even then, it's still very far away from any other major civilization. The island is quite small. It's only 63 square miles, and it's shaped like a triangle with 3 sides. Its highest point is only 1,402 feet above sea level. It's a very volcanic island and was formed after underwater volcanoes erupted thousands of years ago. Its climate is mild, though there are no snakes, rats, or mosquitoes. Easter Island is known all over the world because of the huge stone statues called Moai that were built there many years ago. These statues were carved between the years 1250 and 1500 AD. They were made by the early settlers who arrived on the island many years before that. Some experts believe that these statues were made to represent the islanders' ancestors. They believe that they were built as memorials for the tribal chiefs who ruled over the island during those times. These statues are truly massive. They are gigantic, and they were created from the tough rock that could easily be found on the island. Using primitive tools, the natives carved 887 statues on the island. Their average height was 13 feet and they weighed around 12 tons each. The heaviest statue weighed 21 tons and the tallest one was 24 feet high. All the Moai statues had long noses, almond-shaped eyes, and wide mouths. They were almost all male, and only 40 of them had hats on their heads. But how did the natives build these statues without any advanced tools? And where are the other 513 statues that were built alongside these 887? What happened to them? How did they disappear? Well, according to recent research, it's believed that some of these statues were never completed, so they just left them as is. Others were buried underground and turned into platforms for houses. Others were used to make roads. In fact, there's a road in the island's capital, Hangaroa, which is made up of Moai heads. Some people also claim that these Moai statues have secret symbols hidden within their bodies. These symbols are spirals. They look like strange patterns and they look very similar to DNA. What do these spirals mean? What kind of secret knowledge did the natives possess that allowed them to carve these shapes onto the statues? Could it be possible that these spirals have something to do with genetics and our origin story? Well, many believe that the DNA structure is a spiral shape and that the builders of these statues knew more about human biology than we gave them credit for. Now, let's talk about the builders of these statues. Who were they? Where did they come from? And how did they get to this remote island in the middle of nowhere? Unfortunately, we don't know much about their history. The natives themselves refer to themselves as the descendants of Hatu Matua. Hatu Matua is said to have been the first man to set foot on the island. He supposedly reached the island from a place called Makadisho, but there's no record of this place anywhere. According to legend, Hotu Matua landed on the island with his wife and 2 sons. They arrived in a canoe. The legend says that he and his wife were turned into rocks after they landed on the shore. When his 2 sons saw this, they began crying, and as they cried, they were also turned into rocks. The boys' names were Ut Rangiora and Ut Kuranui, and the islanders say that the Moai statues with hats on their heads represent these 2 brothers. The islanders also believe that their ancestors arrived on the island around the year 1200, but this is not backed by any evidence. At the time when they arrived, the island was already inhabited by other people. In fact, the bones of the people who lived on the island were different from the bones of the natives who were living there. The bones of the natives who built the Moai statues resemble the bones of people who live in modern-day Polynesia. But the bones of the previous inhabitants resembled the bones of people who live in the Andean region of South America. Scientists are currently trying to find out if there was ever a connection between these 2 groups of people. But back to the Polynesians. Where did they come from, and why did they travel so far away from their homeland? According to scientists, the Polynesian people might have come from another island called Rapa, which is near the island of Rarotonga. They probably traveled across the ocean using large canoes. It's believed that they traveled to Easter Island between the years 300 and 500 AD. We don't know exactly when they came, but we do know that they didn't come alone. They brought chickens with them. After they arrived, they settled on the island and started to grow crops such as sweet potatoes and bananas. They also hunted birds and seafood. But after a few hundred years, they had completely depleted the resources on the island. There were no more trees, no more animals. The soil was completely barren. It was terrible. And this is where things get really interesting. Around the year 900 AD, a group of people arrived from another island. They were called the Moriori. The Moriori had a different language and culture than the Polynesian people, but they too settled on the island. By 1200 AD, both groups had formed tribes and they started fighting with each other for resources. It's believed that at one point the Moriori almost wiped out the Polynesian people from the island. The Polynesian survivors hid in caves, and those who came out were killed. The survivors managed to rebuild their population and took their revenge on the Moriori people. By 1500 AD, the Polynesian people had become stronger. They grew in number, and they had reclaimed the entire island. But their population kept growing, and eventually they had used up all of the natural resources once again. There wasn't enough food for everyone, and the island couldn't support such a large population, and so they started leaving the island in search of better lives. Some of them traveled to the Pitcairn Islands, while others went to the island of Tahiti, and some went to the island of Mangarava. Those who left the island behind took the knowledge and skills that they had learned with them. They spread these skills and traditions to other islands, and that's how these skills became widespread around Polynesia. Islanders believe that there are still undiscovered secrets hidden on the island. Many believe that the Moai statues are portals to other dimensions, and that the islanders' ancestors used them to travel to other planets. Some believe that the island itself is a giant power source and that it emits strong magnetic waves which have the ability to heal people. They also say that the island is home to several magical springs which can grant wishes. But nobody has been able to find these springs yet. What do you think about this island? Do you believe there's anything left to discover here? Let us know your theories in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos about lost civilizations, ancient aliens, and much more. Thanks for watching. See you next time.